we go. All right. And we
All
are
right.
good to go. Does everyone have the agenda? It's very simple.
Mhm.
Basically we're talking about we're asking for public comment on anything other than
Oh,
one.
can I open the
Yeah, you
meeting?
do your thing.
This is
Yes.
my
Sorry.
favorite part. I get to open the meeting. All
Sorry.
right. I'd like to call this meeting of the South County Senior Center Board of Oversight to order at 11:03 Stockholm time, 5:03, I assume, Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
And I'm going to defer to Jennifer because I'm still looking through my emails for the agenda to pull it up on
Okay.
my screen.
Okay, so do you have it or do you need me to email it?
No, I don't
It's
need
short
you to
enough.
email it. It's
Okay,
a short one. I'm letting you lead the meeting
no
There you
because
go.
problem.
you have the
Meeting
agenda in front of you.
Yep, meeting guidelines, speak one at a time, follow the code of conduct, be respectful, considerate, courteous, concise, and non-repetitive. Members present, we have all of our members present from the Board of Oversight, in addition to people in the public that I mentioned before. We have Blake Gilmore from the Select Board in Deerfield, we have Fran York, we have Marianne Sadowski, we have Carol Ryan, we have Ariana Marietta from the recorder, and I just let in Becky Torres. Um, and from the Sunderland Town Administrator's Office. So
Great.
uh, that's where we are with that. We have an item for discussion, public comment. I'm assuming on anything other than 112 Amherst Road, because that is our main point of discussion tonight. So is there any public comment on that?
Yeah.
Anyone have a question on anything or a comment on something other than 112 Amherst Road?
All right. Let's get to it then.
All right.
112 Amherst Road, update.
I'm
Let's start with Jennifer.
okay. I'm gonna stop the video for Sunderland Town Administrator until a person is there. Okay, so financial pieces, or where we are at this point. After our last meeting, it was determined that everyone would go back and do some homework. To my knowledge, I have heard from Whately that the Whately Select Board has voted for their portion of the 1973, which I believe was $355.
Mhm.
Sunderland voted on that portion as well. Excuse me, let me just go, because I believe we were at 29.8%. Is that correct? Which was
Um,
587.95. Are we doing?
So,
I can go look at, no, we use the
I,
new fractions.
Yep.
So that's
can I
right.
jump in real quick too on this
Yeah.
Sure.
dollar amount? So I think at our last meeting, you were thinking of using the 5,000 from the Mass in Motion grant, and
Yes.
then roughly 3,000 from the additional $1 per
For
senior.
formula fund. Yep.
Right. And then I went back, I talked to Brenda, our accountant. She was concerned about using that $3,000 because of, being so early in our year and we're just the budget. She was thinking we should really not use that three.
Yep.
So I had then said, okay, well, what other monies could we use? And I had talking with her, we still have money in Deerfield's. Deerfield had put money aside for a feasibility study and an assessment of our seniors back when UMass Amherst did their thing. So there is a portion of money left over, and I was looking for areas that we could use that money instead of taking more out of our budget when it's this early in the year and who knows what expenses we have. So,
Yep.
and I know you're good at cutting budgets and making money last and finding other money, but I was really concerned about spending that other money. But I know that Sunderland and Whately had already voted their money. So, and it's not a huge difference either way. So what I did was I asked Christopher to talk to our attorney and review the capital planning request for that money that was approved at town meeting and to see if it was broad enough to use for this item. She believes that it is broad enough, but she recommended that we bring it to the capital planning committee to just have their a second vote on it saying yes. Back then it was use this money for a feasibility study and assessment of the seniors. And then in parentheses, it said, and possibly the 1888, well, it didn't say 1880, the current senior center or the church property, but it was just like, and possibly. So it wasn't really geared to those two, but we didn't really know of any other place at the time. So I think Lisa just said, at least just go back to the capital planning committee and say, can you endorse this use of the money? So what I was hoping to use was the 5,000 from the Mass in Motion grant, and then to use the money that you voted, and then to use hopefully some of this money. So I think my concern was like, did we have enough money in certain pots of money to cover this? And I think we do. I feel confident voting this tonight to go ahead with the contract, and then over the next week, Chris, our town administrator, Christopher Dunn, was away this week, and I didn't want to bother him. He was with his family on vacation. So I just said, we'll talk later. I feel comfortable enough we can vote this contract to move forward and get the ball rolling. And then if you would just give me a week or so when Chris is back to just finalize where we get all of the money from. And I'm hoping that we could really use this money we have set aside for assessments and feasibility for this space, and let our budget last a little longer. It's a long-winded
Okay.
thing, but that was kind of where I was at.
Would it be okay if I recap that?
Please,
That
I'm long-winded.
the only item that you're really arguing about is
Mhm.
the roughly $3,000, and you're thinking
Yes,
you might be able to get that from another pot of money in Deerfield. If you
yes,
can't,
yep,
then we still have the roughly $3,000,
yes,
$327, I think, um,
yes,
from the increase in the per senior amount of
right,
money.
yep,
So maybe Jennifer, go ahead. You got your hand up.
Actually, so if we break down that, so if we took the $5,000 from the Mass in Motion, like we've talked about, the
yep,
3,027 would have been the additional funds from the Formula Fund grant. We would
yep,
still have that $1,973. Deerfield would have, I think we had
It's
1,065
about
for
1,000,
that.
yeah.
So
correct,
so it would be the 3,027 plus the 65 or the
correct,
65.
Yeah,
So I just
yeah,
want to be clear about that.
right.
yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're thinking of getting a roughly 4,000 and some
mhm,
change
yeah,
from that particular set aside, and you need a little more time to get that committee to sign off on it.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
I think
just,
we may have gotten our $355 from a similar pot of money that we had set aside for
yep,
senior assessments that ended up getting paid for by a grant as
right,
well.
yep,
So yeah, so I'm confident that your attorney will find that it's okay to spend that money.
yes, yes, yeah, she thought it
Um,
was, and she just thought CPA should just give a final talk, and I just need time to pull that committee together and review it with them and see what their thoughts are. And I mean, one way or the other, I think it
yeah,
makes sense to go forward. I know EDM did a great job of giving us a very bare bones
right.
budget, and I think it's very important we get this stuff going. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I think I feel confident voting it tonight, and because I know we have a pot of money somewhere, I just want to finalize that if you'll
Well,
give me that time.
right. Well, when we vote, we're voting to recommend. The actual contract
Yep.
is with the town of Deerfield, so we would have to wait till
Yep.
Chris gets back.
Yeah.
Anyway, to get it to in actual motion.
Correct.
I am comfortable with making our vote, contingent on the funding coming through in Deerfield
Great.
for just the
Yeah.
$1,065. And then if we do a switcheroo on
Yeah.
the $3,027, then I think uh, I'm comfortable with letting that part be ambiguous,
Great.
right?
Yep.
As to which pot it comes from. And I appreciate you, thinking about how, yeah, we don't want to spend down every
Yeah.
bit of flexibility we have in our budget.
Right. It's early in the year, and I was worried about that. Yep.
Yeah. And I just wanted to clarify, Joyce, how much exactly did you get? I think it's the 355.
355, yeah.
Okay. And Dan,
50.
550. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. I just want to make sure I have it accurate. And it's from CIPC. the plan, so that way if anybody in the audience has a question, because you had said CPA, so I just want to
Oh,
make sure.
yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. I
Yep.
just want to make
One
sure
of
there's
those
no
C's.
confusion. The CIPC. Great. So do you want to do your vote now about that?
Yeah, I'm trying to think exactly what kind of a motion to make. And I was actually also in running down my computer here to just check the numbers again. It's in one of these spreadsheets.
I,
Yep.
I, I could make a motion to recommend that the fiduciary, Deerfield, the fiduciary body of the South County Senior Center, approve the grant, approve the contract with EDM for the feasibility study of 112 Amherst Road.
Okay, I would second that.
Yes.
Great.
Okay. All right, then all of those in favor, you got to do a roll call here. So Dan,
Yes.
Trevor,
Trevor McDaniel, yes.
uh, Joyce Palmer Fortune, yes.
Okay,
Great.
great.
Okay.
There's just a FYI, there is a balance of like $2 when I'm doing the math based on the 1065.42. And the few other things, the 355, the 550, we're short of $2 and some
I'll make
change.
a donation.
So I just wanted to
350.
clarify.
I'll put my $2 in.
Thank you. So
Okay.
I'll send an email with the exact dollar amounts.
Right,
Based on what
I've
I
got
have.
1068 for Deerfield, 550 for Sunderland, 355 for
Yep.
Whately,
Okay.
and that does add up to 1973.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay. A couple quick things, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
Hmm? Yep.
Thank you, Joyce. I did wrong math when I multiplied the percentage before. I reached out to Gillette restaurant equipment when we were talking about the estimate for the kitchen, just to give you an idea as to where we are. If we go with electric items, we're probably closer to $29,000. And then if we go with if we go with the convection oven without an open burner system, we would be closer to 20,000, and that includes a freezer, refrigerator, grease trap, stainless steel working tops, tables, dishwasher, the 3 compartment sink, etc. Then in addition to that, the estimate price for an Ansel system is
Mhm.
approximately between $2,000 and $8,000 per foot. Depending on the width, and it was approximately 4 to 6 feet we would need for that, depending on
Uh,
which stove top we went with, because
Mhm.
and I'm
yeah.
double checking with the fire department to see if we have to expand beyond the stove top, if we have to include the convection oven. So
Okay.
that's just the other piece. And so I just wanted to give you that I have that information. The furniture piece is going to be a little, I have prices, I have some information from Lexington Furniture Company, who the Ludlow Senior Center had used, and I believe also possibly the South Hadley Senior Center when they did their renovations.
Okay.
And I have price points, but it would be based upon, how many items we purchase. So I can't really give you an
Yeah,
accurate dollar amount,
it's
but I
fine.
can share that if you would like further reading.
Sure.
So I've got that information there, and then obviously prices are subject to change depending on when we go forward with purchasing in the future.
Yep.
So I've got all of that information.
Great.
And I did send an email to Chris Wanty from EDM to confirm when, if a contract signed within the next week, when we would be able
What
to
their
have
time?
results, because I know we talked about doing community forums before asking for special town meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if can I ask, does anyone have a ballpark as to when special town meetings are occurring in each community? Are we looking at the end of October or the middle?
We would generally be the end of October, I think.
I can't see us. Oh, actually, I'm gonna look up an email. I feel like Pete sent something asking about special town meeting
Okay,
possibilities.
and Becky, you had your hand up.
I guess traditionally Sunderland doesn't do special town meetings, but for an important issue, they would consider it, but that was my initial feedback. Dan could add to that, but I guess it typically isn't done, so this would be an unusual event. And we would need to do it most likely after the free cash is certified.
Oh,
After the what is certified?
Free cash.
Free cash.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, everybody, because if anybody needs to use their free cash, they cannot use their free cash until it's certified by the state, which happens between October and December usually.
Ours are, we'll
October's
have,
early.
we'll have ours at the end of August.
Wow, great.
How do you get yours done at the end of August? Did you
Uh,
like bribe someone at the state level, the
no,
people who do
we
this?
turned it in early. We get all our stuff done early. Brenda's really good jumping on that stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last year, I think we had it done by about it
It's
came in
you,
after I started, so it was about the middle of November or
it's
the end of
usually
November.
September for us. It's just Brenda is leaving, she's retiring, so I think she's trying to wrap stuff up early this year. So that's why it's oddly early.
Well,
Yeah.
so I guess if I send a follow-up email to Mr. Warner just to let him know, we're in process of doing this to determine if this is going to be a best use of space, and we let him know, that we're in process. I know that that email indicated
Yeah.
January as a rental start, but
Mhm.
I would assume they'd be a little flexible if we needed to move it to February or something if it's approved.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we should be aiming for the end of October for our forums.
Hmm.
I don't know when Whately's special town meeting is going to be. I don't think we'd end up deciding that until fairly close.
okay.
Yeah.
And I think Becky, I know it's unusual, but you guys got to start talking about how special town meetings are the coolest thing
They are
that
the
people can
coolest thing
do.
ever.
And
Are.
let's join the 21st century and have some special town meetings.
The only comment I will make is I am happy to do the forums if you want to start them at the end of or the beginning of October.
Mhm.
Um, I'm at the MCOA conference for the second to last week of October. So
Okay.
Oh,
because
okay.
if we're
That's
having special town meeting at the end of October for, for any of the towns, we should have our community forums done before then.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know that Chris from EDM said that they wouldn't be doing a public presentation. So it
Yeah.
Right.
would just be us
Us.
as a
It'd
team,
be us
with
doing it. Yeah.
you and our staff doing that, like we did, for the other presentations,
Yeah.
to just go over
Well,
the best use of space and stuff. So,
let's see what Chris says about what their timing is on the how much, realistically, not to push them, but just how many weeks do they think it would take them to
yeah,
pull it together?
I,
Even
I
if just
sent
a
him
rough
that email
figure.
earlier, so
Yeah,
you
perfect.
have an
We'll see what
idea.
he says. We can meet
Um,
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I just wanted to make sure because
Yep.
I know everybody's schedule is going to be a little bit different, and
Yep.
it would be good if we have at least one daytime, if not two daytime meetings, and then an evening meeting for the entire community at Frontier. And
Yep.
then that's going to take some planning to see when the school might be doing plays or whatnot to see if
Correct.
conflict
Yeah. Okay.
there. So
Yep.
if you could all for the board members or boo members, just send me an email as to dates you are not available for any presentations in the evening. So that way I can at least reach out to Darius and and to Scott to get an idea as to when the auditorium might be available based on the
Okay.
response I get from EDM
Okay.
and from all of you. Just a reminder, I am going to be out on vacation next week. Chris will be taking, Chris will be in my stead, and then Tom and Chris have everything covered for that stuff.
Oh,
Enjoy
great.
time. You deserve it. Every minute of it.
Um, also to give you an update on some program stuff, we got an email from Jane Trojan from the Y. They are not going to have uh, instructors available for 2 weeks. So the week of the 18th through September 2nd, there won't be an instructor for enhanced fitness. So we're going to
Oh,
go back on September 3rd. So yeah, they're changing up the instructors. I think Jaris is now, who had been doing it before, was on a break. She's going to be doing Mondays and Wednesdays. And then their current instructor, I'm sorry, my name escapes. I think it begins with an M. Is going to be doing Fridays. So changing up that. Thank you. So they're going to be changing up their instructors a little bit. But with some of the grant money and then the operations budget, we're able to, drop the cost for that class down to $2. And then right now through probably earlier in the year, we're going to be able to offer 2 classes, the chair yoga and the balance in motion at no cost. And then we'll probably have to bump it to $4 or $5 when we do start charging in the springtime or late winter. So those grants have come in. And then the info fair is coming up later this
Yes.
month. So we
Night,
have
right?
about 22 community partners signed up now, so we're really
Awesome.
excited.
oh,
And Riff's joint food truck is going to be
They're
catering
so good.
that.
mm,
Um, so yeah, I think those are the big things. And then like I shared earlier, our van is coming in the morning, but we'll do a showcase type of a thing at the informational fair so
Yeah,
people can see it, and we really won't
very
start
nice.
doing it till then. Because they also have to do um a walkthrough because MassDOT is also going to be like a lien holder on it. Even
Sure.
though
mhm,
we have the title, but just because they paid for 80% of the vehicle. So
Right.
I guess it
That
has
makes
to
sense.
be like
Uh,
that till we get to the end of the life of the vehicle. So yeah,
Oh,
we're really excited because they were telling me closer to after Labor Day. And I was like, we have events coming up. We were counting on it. So
yeah.
mm,
Great. No, it'll be wonderful.
yeah.
Really
excellent.
huge, huge, huge step forward
Um,
for our
which,
senior center.
which brings me to one question.
Mm,
On the weekends, we're going to store that van here on our property, but during the weekdays, if we have big events, I'm wondering if Deerfield, Sunderland, and or Whately will be open to us parking it in their parking lot if we have a lot of things
Mm,
going on here. Um,
Sure.
like because
Yeah.
Mondays are really busy, so if we could park over in Sunderland and walk back, it would be helpful just because we don't have a lot
Yeah.
of parking.
Yeah. I mean, fine with us. I mean, if you ever need it in Deerfield for sure, but
That's
yeah, I know
fine
it's
with me.
easier. Yeah.
Great.
Great.
I just
That's
just
wonderful.
wanted to pose the question while everybody was on today, so thank
Yeah.
you.
No, that makes sense.
Just to
yeah,
yep.
make
Good.
sure we're all
that
taken care
sounds very
of.
sensible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, those are
Great.
the only 2 items. Those are my updates. I don't know if anybody else
Okay.
has any other updates or questions.
Any
Um,
comments from anybody?
Yeah, that
No?
I guess if I'll just recap what I hear as our timeline. Our timeline is we hear back from EDM sometime mid-October probably was what it maybe early, but mid-October say.
yep.
We
Mhm,
have some forums towards the end of October,
mhm.
and we assuming things are positive, I have a positive outcome, then we try for a special town meeting uh, in November. Somewhere along that timeline, we need to have some people working with uh, the owners to
Mhm.
negotiate a lease.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing. And then there's also, is there a kickoff meeting for the EDM folks? Because one of the things that I'm concerned about, and some of the people I've been
Mhm.
talking to are concerned about, is that we really want them to focus on how could this building be successful?
Correct.
And not like, oh, it was, geez, it's not 16,000 square feet, so it can't work. Just like, what is the
Right.
best senior center we can get in this
Right.
12,000 square feet?
Agreed. Agreed.
And I've got two people who would really like to be there for that kickoff meeting.
I don't think
They were,
there's going to be a kickoff meeting. It's just going to be, sorry, go ahead.
Well, they've got to
oh,
come and
no,
evaluate it, right? I mean, they've got to come and see the building. I'd love to meet them when they do that.
Yeah,
and like whatever opportunity we have to talk with them at the start of this so that
Hmm.
they really understand that that's what we need and what we want.
Yeah.
That I would think that would be valuable. So if as we're interacting with them, and I think it's more Jen and maybe Trevor and Chris Dunn doing most of that.
Yeah.
Um,
Before we sign the contract.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, that to really have that be clear.
Yep.
And the two people who I'm thinking of who wanted to be, they really want to be involved is
One.
uh, Lauren.
One star.
Lauren Starr was one, and then the
Yep.
other is Jerry Lemon, who's
Hmm.
he's got some
Oh,
experience in commercial
least
real estate.
correct.
Lauren's got the architecture,
Hmm.
and I don't know where that the committee to negotiate a lease would start, but I would think it would be
Right about then.
once when we hear back um, from
Yeah.
EDM is when we're going to know things like, well, how
Yeah.
many of those tables do we need to order that Jen has the
Correct.
price of already?
Correct.
And
Yep.
we'll have a lot more information about what we need,
Yep.
and also in terms of cost that for renovating or rearranging the building. And that I think the lease commit that's the thing that Jerry was mostly thinking about is that
Yeah.
getting those costs folded into the lease. Um, and
Yeah.
that
I don't
so
think we're going to
so
get
he
furniture.
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think we're going to get furniture costs folded into the lease. That's going to
Oh,
be
No.
our
no,
stuff.
no. Sorry, I
But
was mixing things up.
that's
Yeah.
That's
okay.
just a different
But
cost.
just to let you know from my conversation with Chris Wanty from EDM, we're getting bare bones where they're only going to put in that $10,000 price range, only one meeting with the Board of Oversight, a tour by the architectural team to look at the space. I already emailed over the plans that I got
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
TJ Conroy of the
Did you
space.
get more plans versus did you get something other than those things that were stuck to the wall for emergency access?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
Can I,
uploaded those to the Gmail thing and sent you all the link to look at them.
oh, I didn't
yeah.
see it. Okay, I'll look.
No,
I must have
I
just missed
looked
it.
at
Yeah,
them.
I could
Yeah,
resend it if you need me to.
If you just to the
But
top of the email would be great, just so I could
yeah,
take a peek at it. Yep, that'd be great.
yeah.
Thank you.
okay, I could do that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there were all the plans for the entire
Great.
building, including
Super
their
helpful.
renovations that have been
Yep.
done
Yeah.
before, those are in
Very good.
there as well.
Very
Okay.
good. That's
Then
great.
when they have a meeting with the Board of Oversight, was that going to be near the start or near the end?
I think it was going to be to present to you what they came up with, like,
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
like they did before.
Okay. Then on that
So
visit, we want to be able to invite Lauren
Hmm.
and Jerry
Okay.
to that site visit.
Hmm.
And
okay, I'll have to see if they ask them when they're going to be doing that. So,
yeah, yeah.
All right, we'll regroup again shortly.
yeah. Also, I just wanted to, when we were talking about the 521 CMR and the $100,000 renovation being the turning point, there was also a specific thing to the elevator interior, and I had TJ go back over and measure out wall to wall, and I think we're gonna be okay with that. So the only other concern I have is that once you hit $100,000 threshold with your 521 CMR, that could potentially trigger
But is
the ADA piece.
but is that any entity or is it a governmental entity? This five something CR.
521 Code of Mass
Yeah.
Regulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
We
that
get my
for like
link
a
here.
municipality remount of the building we need to do something, or if it's if anybody does anything.
Hold
I mean,
on.
like just putting a kitchen in, is that going to require us to, I don't know, it just seems like there's not that much renovation to be done to trigger like a whole new thing. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out from them all.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's why we have
public.
experts looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even if we're not legally required to change the elevator, we want to have the place set up such that it doesn't become a problem.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that's, I
All right.
think, more what I'm worried about. Because
Yeah.
every time I talk to a different person, I hear a different number for what would trigger the elevator
Right.
having to become ADA compliant with
Mhm.
today's ADA. So
Yeah.
I don't know which one to believe.
Yeah.
Well, this is
The experts we
the
pay.
mass.gov website, the 521 CMR 28 elevators. It just talks about in all multi-story buildings and facilities. So,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and then it talks about elevators are not required under the following exceptions, for certain things. And then you go into the cost piece, and then it talks about in existing buildings where existing shaft configuration prohibits strict compliance with 528 CMR 28.7, which is the elevator car. The maximum size allowable for the existing shaft shall be provided, but in no case shall be the inside car area be smaller than 48 inches by 48 inches, wall to wall and wall to door. And I think with what TJ sent over to
Smaller
me,
than that.
We can cover that.
it's 48. The car dimensions are 48, 51,
Oh,
and 32, but the door opening on one point, so I think we might be okay.
all right. Well, we'll find
Um,
out from the
so
experts.
if it's
EDM will
yeah,
tell us.
if it's 48 by 51, then we're okay because we're within that 48 by 48.
Yeah.
I think the only issue at all, it says it may be let's see, I'm just looking for the door opening and it doesn't say specific on here. So
yeah.
we'll but the 48 to 48 we would be fine because it's 48 by 51.
Okay.
So
Well, we'll see what
I
they say.
just reading that preliminary, I just
Yep.
wanted to do that
Yep.
research.
All right.
So I think we could make it be okay with it.
Yep.
So I
Okay.
think
Okay.
just wanted to share. But
All right.
do we want to have another meeting at all anytime?
That's what I was just gonna ask. What's a good like
Can
next
we,
meeting?
could I at least just get the money figured out and then we could just do a email poll to figure out when we need to get together? Like I could find out like, hey, we got the money set. We've talked to EDM, we've set up a signature, we have set a date for a walkthrough. Let's have a meeting about that.
Okay.
Why don't we schedule one for 2 weeks from now?
Yeah.
I'll second
Just
that.
just to update.
21st?
21st. Are you in town for that, Jen, or you're not on vacation? You were on
No, I am
vacation
not
next
on
week.
vacation. That is the rain date for our informational fair, but
Oh,
I'm going with we're having great weather, so I'm not going to have to worry about it.
okay. Or you can
Um,
fob us off if it turns out you have a rain date.
Yeah.
So tentatively we'll say the 21st.
Yeah. So
And
8:21. What time are we doing?
Same.
this time works.
Yeah,
Trevor,
same.
me-
does 5 o'clock work?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it'll still be 11 here in Stockholm, but I'm
Better than your midnight. So thank
hey,
you
it's
for
better
being
than midnight.
being flexible. All right, then we'll go with 5 o'clock then again. And if Trevor has to change that, were you good with 5 on the 21st?
Yeah, I believe so. When was the informational fair again?
So the actual date
Right.
is 20th. The
Oh, I see.
rain
Rain
date
date,
is
the
the
following day.
21st.
Okay. Yep. All right.
So
Yeah,
if I
no, I'm
have
good.
to cancel, I will let you know on the 19th.
Fine.
So, but I think we'll
Okay. And we'll just move it to another day then.
yeah.
If that
Yeah.
happens.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
And I'll let you all
Okay.
know as soon as I get some information on whatever I can get information on. So,
Okay.
Yeah, have Christopher send out the email if you find it out next week because I'm gonna be out
yeah,
all week.
whenever he's back, yeah, we'll get together. I'm just waiting for him to get back to work. So,
Yeah.
okay.
All right, great.
Motion to
Okay.
adjourn.
Second.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All those in favor, let's roll call it. Trevor,
I, Trevor McDaniel. Thank you.
Dan,
All right, Dan Murphy.
yeah, Joyce, aye. Hey, thanks everybody.
Thank you
Thanks a
for
And
lot.
coming. Thank you for attending,
and
everyone.
again, welcome, Eliana. Nice to meet you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I had a few just quick questions. If one of you would stick around, maybe that'd be great.
Sure, I can stick around.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night,
Thanks.
everyone.
Right.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Right.
Bye.
Let's see. How do I get that here? I don't know how to shut it off.
I'm
No.
just gonna click on the X.
Yes, ma'am.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Not working. Leave meeting.
Do you want me
Okay.
to stick around or do you want me to go? I mean, because if I can mute myself or whatever, it's just that
Sure.
Joyce
Yeah, I
would
just
know.
had some basically just trying to get a sense of what's going on since I'm, new to
Oh,
this. I
okay.
want to make sure I understand. Do you mind if I record so I don't miss anything?
I don't mind.
Perfect. Okay, so can you just give me a brief breakdown of that timeline again so I kind of understand what's essentially left to do?
Oh, okay. Well, the timeline goes backwards quite a ways, and I won't get all the dates accurately on that, but we've been over the last year or two-ish, maybe three, been studying what our needs are, getting a feasibility study done, and that all got finished up, I feel like last spring.
Okay,
And we got a bill for, not a bill, we got an estimate that we would need $15 million
oh my gosh,
to get the senior center that we deserve.
right,
And we're like, yeah, that went over like lead balloon, right?
yeah,
'Cause, just using 6% in 30 years, it's $1 million a year, and that hasn't even paid for the furniture or anything
right,
else.
right.
So that was not gonna happen.
Mhm.
And we were looking around wondering what to do. And sometime last spring, I feel like it was in May, we heard from the folks at Delta Sand and Gravel that they have this building we may be able to lease. So since then, we've just been working on, could this work? Do we know an architect? Do we know? And just kind of
Right,
gathering all the people who might be able to help us figure out if it can work. One of the
right,
things we learned was we need an architect to make a plan that they put their stamp on.
mhm,
So that the building inspector can come and say, all right, that plan is good,
right,
or it complies with the law. And that's primarily because the building would be going from use as an office to a public building.
right, right.
So we are in the process right now of getting the same people who did our feasibility study to extend that feasibility study to include this space, this that we may be able to rent.
Okay,
And it looks like it's just going to be so much less than $15 million.
right, right. Thank gosh, right? That's a scary
Yeah.
number.
Like on a yearly basis, it's roughly a tenth of what it would cost us if we were to try and build a new building.
Awesome. Mhm.
So that's kind of where we are, big picture. And then I don't know for sure, how the schedule will go, but I'm imagining that if we hear back from EDM with their plan in October, early to mid-October, we can assess whether that building is really going to work. So if it's
Right,
positive, and I really sincerely hope and think it can be,
yeah,
um, then we've got to get the word out to people, let all our finance committees and all of our capital improvement committees and seniors and kind of all the interested parties in the towns know what the plan is and why it's the best darn plan that we could possibly have, and
right, right,
what it's going to cost and what it's going to cost
right,
moving forward.
right.
Then since we do not have, you know we're not an institution with an endowment, say, for example.
Mm.
We gotta get appropriations from towns, which means a special town meeting.
Okay.
So if things are look positive at the end of October, we'll be asking for a special town meeting because of some of the things they brought up, like free cash needing to be certified before you can appropriate. And there's like, you need like 14 days notice and so on.
Right.
That would not likely happen till November
Okay.
at the earliest. And we're sort of the Delta Sand and Gravel people want a January 1st. They want to know by January 1st.
Right, right,
I think they would really like that to be a move-in date, so they'd like to know earlier. But
right,
we're a municipality, so we don't necessarily get to move as fast as people do in the commercial world. But
right.
they're great people, and I think if we show our progress, um, and they've been very patient with us so far, and I think hopefully we won't break that.
Good, good. So Sand and Gravel currently owns the building or it's
Yeah,
being used right now?
I think that is that right,
It's
Jennifer? It's
yeah,
technically Delta Sand and
it's
Gravel
Delta Sand
Corporation.
and Gravel.
Okay,
They
perfect.
own the 112 Amherst Road, and they also own the current space that we're leasing. So,
Okay.
oops, I'm sorry.